that actually women were the backbone of the civil rights movement, because there were more women participants than if you go back to Aunt Harriet. It took a lot of guts to do what she did. And we go back to Ida B. Wells, and people like this who took on, and so the women were always out in the forefront. Of course, the male chauvinists didn't, I'm saying the male chauvinism thing didn't, because see, the thing about it is, Ella Baker organized SCLC. She also was the first executive director of SCLC. And the male chauvinist type thing is what kind of ran her off. And she helped organize the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. When the students said, or the younger people, it was the youth group of the SCLC that started this thing in the 60s. They didn't want to wait 20 years to come from the back of the bus or to eat at a lunch counter. So people like the folks who started the sit-ins in Greensboro and the Freedom Rides, Diane Nash and people like that, decided they wanted to go forward with this thing pretty quick. And what I had said is, I was hearing about them, I said if they come to Birmingham, I'm going with them. But I didn't go with them right then, but I did go down to the bus station and inquire, and I met someone who connected me with my first meeting to go to a Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee meeting in Atlanta. And everything is history after that. I was supposed to stay at the Browns Chapel and bring another wave of people later on, the next day or whatever. And there was Miss Virginia Wells, who was head of the medical committee that did some things for us in Mississippi. And when I called her and I was talking to her, she said, "You think we need to come down?" So I told her yes. And she didn't know how to get to the bridge in the van that they had. So I was telling her I'd get in the van with her. And I got in the van with her and jumped out and jumped in the march trying to catch up with get all the way up to the front. And this officer grabbed me and told me I couldn't go any further. And I didn't realize it was a trap. And at that point, I hear something sound like gunshots. And then I didn't find out until much later on it was tear gas instead of gunshots. And he was trying to tell me I couldn't go forward, and he and I was having it out. We were having a physical disagreement. And he called his buddies in, they arrested me and took me to jail. That wasn't my first trip to jail, and it wasn't my first trip to jail in there by myself. So it didn't bother me so much, except I couldn't tell what was going on. I could hear noise and people screaming and stuff, and I really thought it was echoes from the river. I didn't know how close it was until here when I came here about 3 years ago, and they told me where the jail is. The jail is across the street there, that yellow building. So I realized how close it was. They were beating people back to the church, back to Brown's Chapel. But I didn't have a problem with being in jail. I was, I'd already been to jail several times. I was a veteran of the civil rights movement. Right now, they have to understand that the situation is really the same. It's just much more subtle. And we don't have the Klansmen walking around in their white sheets. They putting on suits and ties, getting elected, and getting positions to control. This is pretty much the same thing. They still want to control. So I'm really kind of upset and also at awe because I'm here. I'm 50 years ago I was fighting for this, and now I'm back doing the same thing I was doing. It's kind of irritating to be here fighting for voting rights 50 years or so ago, and now I'm back at the same thing.